Konnichiwa, and welcome to this week's Sunday Club. Now, we might not be able to travel very much this year and last year because of COVID, but Sunday Club is going around the world. So I wonder if you can guess what country we're doing. We've got some Sakura cherry blossom there, got some origami earrings, all sorts of different things. So where are we doing, Elliot?
Japan!
The traditional religion of Japan is Shintoism, which believes that the first emperor of Japan came from gods, and when the Japanese people die, they will become gods. And so you will get household shrines, which are little shrines to relatives who have died, who are now this collective kami gods. They also have a large number of Buddhists. Buddhism came from China and Korea. So throughout Japan, you will see all kinds of temples, which are either Shintoism, like these torii gates here, the orange gateways, or Buddhist. When do you think, how many years ago do you think the first Christians came to Japan?
3,000.
Well, it was 1549, a Christian called St. Francis Xavier came to Japan, and it was only a few years after the first Europeans or Westerners were recorded as coming to Japan. And he came there, he'd been through Asia to tell people about Christianity, about God. And so for the next 40 to 50 years, Christianity flourished in Japan. And they printed the Bible in Japanese and things so people could read it in their own language. But then about 400 years ago, they started to worry that this spreading of Christianity was in fact a plot to try and destabilize the country so that Europeans could take over. And so they banned Christianity, and they persecuted the Christians, and they even crucified some of them.
What does crucify mean?
Like at Easter, Jesus on a cross.
Ah.
It's a horrible death. And they banned all foreigners for 250 years. It's quite extreme.
What?
During this time, there were still hidden Christians, though. And you still get small communities today of these so-called hidden Christians who still meet in secret, even though they don't have to anymore. And they sing songs in Latin, even though they don't speak Latin. And you will find that what they did at the time is a group of households would meet to have services in each other's houses, and they will share between households things like communion cups, things like that. So you get that. There's not that many anymore, but in smaller communities you sometimes find some. And there was also other notable people working for the faith. There was, in Victorian times, there was Joseph Hardy Nasima, and he was Japanese, but he asked, when they first opened up again to foreigners, he asked an American ship's captain to smuggle him on board a ship because he wanted to go to America so he could learn about Christianity and also some Western science. And the ban got lifted in 1873, so some Victorian times. Now, how many Christians do you think there are in Japan? You can say a percentage or a number.
297,320.
Well, there are about 2 to 3 million Christians, which sounds very good, but it's only actually about 1% of the population.
I was way off.
It is a growing congregation there, though, and there's interesting things like about 60 or 70% of weddings are done a Christian sort of style wedding. But one of the problems that they have is, I said when Buddhism came, Buddhism and Shintoism kind of coexist together. They weren't seen as you had to choose one or the other. So when Christianity came, a lot of people just went, oh, well, we'll just add that on. So people don't necessarily practice what we would consider Christianity because they still have their household gods, and I suppose it's quite a lot of their culture is tied around the traditional faiths of Shintoism and Buddhism. So that's one of the problems that the church has in Japan, trying to sort of preach that no, you can't keep having these household gods that you worship. The other thing is they work quite long hours. So for men particularly, they don't have, they are often working on a Sunday and it can be difficult to find the time to church. But when you stand up at a church in Japan and say you're going to follow God, you're going to be a Christian, we have it that you might get baptised, or if you've already been baptised, you'll get confirmed. But when you do it in Japan, you quite often have to not just say that you're giving your life to God, but also that you are agreeing to help out at the church and do your part to help with the church community. And the idea that the Japanese people were set apart, the sort of, as I say, the origins of Shintoism, reminds me of the Bible, what God said about the Israelites. So in Exodus 19, it says, exactly 3 months after the Israelites had left Egypt, so that was after the 10 plagues, they reached the desert of Sinai. The Israelites camped in the desert in front of Mount Sinai. Then Moses went up on the mountain to God. The Lord called to him from the mountain. The Lord said, say this to the family of Jacob, and tell this to the people of Israel. Every one of you has seen what I did to the people of Egypt. You saw how I carried you out of Egypt. I did it as an eagle carries her young on her wings, and I brought you here to me. So now obey me and keep my agreement. Do this and you will be my own possession, chosen from all nations. Even though the whole earth is mine, you will be my kingdom of priests. You will be a nation that belongs to me alone. You must tell the Israelites these words. And that still holds true for us. Today we've got to show our faith so that others can look at us and go, do you know what? What's different about them? What have they got that makes them special? And it's knowing God. It's that relationship with God. So Elliot made something at school which inspired him for the craft today. So what did you make at school? Before Easter, what did you make?
A palm cross out of paper.
Okay, do you want to demonstrate your palm cross?
So you take it and then you have to have it quite small, so you take it and fold it. So then the long strip you take to around there. Sorry, but and then you fold it diagonally so it looks like this.
And this is what you'll have got a palm cross probably in the post from church, and this is what they make, how they make them out of actual palm leaves. Then
you pull it back to about the same. I haven't done quite as good, but you have to do it about the same length as the top bit. The side bit, I haven't done it too well. And try and make them a bit the same size. So then you take this then you take this bit and you fold it in quite an odd way up so it's going diagonally. Then you take that. Sorry guys. Then you take it down diagonally so it makes that at the front.
So it's crossing it.
Yeah, then you turn this bit and pull it so it goes like that. That bit's important. Then you pull it back up.
The other diagonal sort of thing?
Yeah, you make it the other diagonal. Then you,
fold it and tuck it in?
yes.
Elliot's just going because it's, I think, slightly shorter than he wanted it to be, but it doesn't matter. Works.
If you get it too short, just use sellotape. That's what we did at school.
To be fair, it's staying quite nice now you fold it. Anyway, do you know what paper folding is?
Origami.
What about if you use scissors? Do you know what that's called?
That's not origami.
It's not origami. It's kirigami. So if you make snowflakes at Christmas time and you fold paper and cut out bits, that's kirigami.
I have a unicorn exerciser.
So that wasn't actually our craft. This is our craft.
I just wanted to show that off.
But it was inspired by Elliot doing the palm cross, so these are a slightly different version of cross. And for this, you are going to need a sheet of A4 paper. And
A full sheet?
a full sheet. And the thinner paper, the better, but just like printer paper.
Why is your
will
line
work.
got two sides?
Hold up. So, what you want to do to begin with is fold it in half, so you've got two long bits, and then you are going to cut it. So you have two pieces. I had two bits because I thought I'd do one with each colour, so it was easier for people to see. Did you want two colours?
I'll take a purple and a green.
Okay. Now, you are going to use one bit is going to be the cross bit, and one bit is going to be the up and down bit.
I don't know how to do this. My mum hasn't shown me how to do this yet.
I know, I thought I'd be excited. So, what we need to do is decide if you're using two colours like we're doing today, pick which one you want to be the across piece. And we're going to cut a little bit off of it.
Which one shows more?
It's mainly the up and down bit is the prominent one. And
Okay, I want that one to be green.
which one? The across bit or the up and down? Do you want it mostly green or most?
Yes, mostly green.
Okay, so we're both doing the purple then. Now, it doesn't really matter how much it is. If you want to do it nicely, you can fold it to make sure it's a nice straight edge. If you think you'll be able to cut it off straight, then you can just cut it straight.
Meow.
So, and that's the end of the cutting. We're not cutting any other bits. So you've got A4 piece of paper in half, and one bit is cut slightly shorter.
Hey!
So, what you want to do with this one, so we're still dealing with the across bit.
My chair just fell off my chair.
It's okay. And what we want to do is we want to fold it again the same way, so you've got a long thing there. Now for origami or kirigami though, when you do folds, you need to, one, try and make them as neat as possible, and two, really fold them down well so they're really crisp ones. I like to hold them down on the table or whatever I'm using and really press into them.
I did it.
Or you can ask for some help if you need it.
Oh, shoot.
If it's not completely exact, it doesn't really matter on this one too much. Just try and be as neat as possible. So we're then going to open it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold the top bit to the middle.
Did I crease
and
it
the
too
bottom
much?
bit to the middle. No, that's good.
What we good?
So you're opening it up and you're using the line you've just made as a guide. And you're folding from one side up to this middle line.
And from the other side?
And then from the other side down to the middle line.
Oh, shoot.
Again, it doesn't really matter if it's not too precise. It matters slightly at the end, but but I'll give you a trick at the end how you can sort it if you need to.
Hi!
So there you go. You've got your top and bottom folded into the middle. Now the next bit, what we basically want is we want to fold this in a little bit, and we want to fold it in the same amount as this.
Go, colour, go.
A little bit complicated. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one corner and fold it down to the middle line.
I just keep mine like this.
So, like that, fold it down to the middle line. We don't actually want it folded down. That is just to give us this mark here, and that is where we're going to fold it. So,
I don't know why I'm wearing an army helmet.
because you found it?
Yeah, I just found
I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir. So fold it a little bit like this. Now, it doesn't matter if it's slightly less than that, if you have a slightly smaller bit than that, but you don't want it to be any bigger than that. So you can fold it so there's a little bit. Now, it doesn't matter if it's slightly less than that, if you have a slightly smaller bit than that, but you don't want it to be any bigger than that. So you can fold it so there's a little bit, but you can't fold it so there's more. That would be bad. And you want to do the same at the other side, because then it won't fit together nicely.
I'm keeping mine like this.
Now, you like Pokemon, don't you?
Sylveon Angry Ninja forever!
And where does Pokemon come from?
Japan!
When we were playing Pokemon Go, and I found a Pokestop when we were about at Bridge of Dawn, and it was for the Scottish Samurai.
Cool!
The Scottish Samurai was Thomas Blake Glover, and he was born in Fraserburgh, but then his family moved and he lived in Bridge of Dawn. He was brought up in Bridge of Dawn in Victorian time.
700 squad forever!
And when he was still a teenager, he went over to Japan because he was a merchant and he was buying green tea and bringing it over. And he helped a lot with the industrialization of Japan. And he was one of the sort of main players when Japan had first reopened foreigners. He did loads of things and was venerated, and so known as the Scottish Samurai.
Cool!
So, we've got our two ends folded in.
No, I don't.
That's because you're using yours as a shouting tube.
Yeah.
And then what we want to do is we want to fold it in half. Now, it won't fold terribly nicely because you've got sort of several layers.
It definitely won't.
It doesn't have to be exactly neat. And we're going... But just try and fold it the best you can, and then we're opening it up again. So it doesn't matter if it's not a completely straight line. It's, again, a guideline, because we are going to fold this edge to the line and this edge to the line.
Oh, I think I know how this works.
What Japanese words do you know?
Konnichiwa.
Which means?
Hello?
What else? Anything else?
Saranato.
Sayonara?
Yes.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Bye.
Bye.
What about arigato?
Yeah, arigato used to be my main catchphrase.
What does that mean then?
Thank you.
Do you know what cherry blossom is?
No.
Sakura.
Is that what he named? Is that? You literally told me this when we.
Now, we want our longer bit now. We're going to put this bit on one side, and we're going to do very much the same. We're going to fold it in half like this, and then when we've got our line there, we're going to fold the top to the line and the bottom to the line, just like we did with the other piece.
Okay.
What Japanese things do you like?
Pokemon.
What else? How many things can you name while I fold this?
Green tea. I don't know if that's actually Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Blah, 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 blah.
Ninjas?
Ninjas!
What other foods?
Sushi!
Anything else?
Sushi!
So, I've got that now folded in. And this sounds very much the same, but this time we're not going to unfold it. We're going to fold the
Sushi!
corner down to this line.
Sushi!
Okay.
Why are you blocking my eyes?
I'm not meaning to. I wasn't looking at the camera what I was doing. And we're going to do that with all four corners.
Hi! Welcome to Folding with Mummy, with Helen and Elliot.
Now, these ones, it doesn't matter if they're not quite to the line, but you don't want it to be over the line.
I'm the really annoying commentator, Elliot.
Any other Japanese things you like? You'd like to go to Japan though, wouldn't you?
Yes!
Because I have been to Tokyo and Kyoto, but I would like to go back as well.
No.
And my paper's just ripped slightly. I don't know that you'll be able to see, but it doesn't matter. Now, you want these ones to be really nicely creased because this is a slightly complicated bit we're going to do.
I literally redid my desk right before this.
That's why we're using your desk.
Like a minute before we did this, I was trying to find something for my desk.
So what we're going to do is we want these corners to be folded in like this, but we're going to change the way they're folded. So we're going to open it up, and at the minute these folds are on the outside. We want the fold to be on the inside, so you have to kind of press the paper and force it to go the other way round on those bends, and then flatten it. I find it's easier if you can try and find the two pointy bits and push them together. But this bit is the tricky bit. You may need an adult to help you.
Warning, this includes scissors.
Push
Use under
in.
adult supervision.
Push the bit in and get the two pointy bits together. So now we have...
Did anybody listen to my warning?
What was your warning? I didn't quite catch you. So we've got two little bits.
This craft uses scissors. Please do under supervision with an adult. That is my warning.
To be honest though, this doesn't really matter. You can use different size paper if you want, but it is easier the bigger the paper because you need it to be quite thin paper and you're doing quite a lot of folds in small space. So yes, I tried doing a miniature version, a really teeny tiny one. This smaller than this, a lot smaller than this one, and it was really hard. I didn't manage to get it successfully. This is the one that I made from A4. So this is half of our A4 sheet. So you get quite a small cross compared to the size paper.
How big of paper did you use for this?
I'm not sure. So we've got our corners in, and we are going to again fold it.
I'm just getting the sunshine on me.
Yeah. Actually, do you know what? I'm being stupid. We don't fold it in half. Don't fold it in half. Don't listen to me. I made like millions of these today, and now I got distracted. So now we want our cross piece. Now,
Did I literally just remind you?
No, I think you distracted me. Now, you have got these little foldy bits here, and what we're going to do is these are going to tuck inside here. So, it's quite difficult to film. I'm not very good at filming these things. So, you are going to be tucking them inside. So, open that bit up and tuck it in, like that. And then you need to move your cross bit to, it looks vaguely cross-shaped. Now, don't worry, it's going to look like a little stubby arm at the minute, but it will end up looking like that, so a bit more
Stubby arm.
cross-shaped. So I think that's probably about right. So you need it to have a shorter bit at the top and a long bit at the bottom to make sort of your traditional cross shape. And what we're going to do, you should be able to see your line across the middle of this. I don't think you'll be able to pick it up on camera, but you should be able to on your own one. So we're going to fold this yellow point to meet in the middle on that line.
Okay.
Now, your paper will probably try and scrunch up a bit, don't worry.
You annihilated this.
So if you hold it down and then just gently press. It doesn't have to be perfect because we'll have to adjust it slightly in a minute.
Good job.
And then we're going to do the same with the bottom piece coming up to the middle as well. If your paper tries to go a bit, it
Nice.
tries to do weird angles, just try and put your finger into it and make it bendy rather than any points, and then it should be a bit easier to press it down. And if it does go in the corners, you can just open it up and flatten it again. But to be honest, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter too much. So we're almost done with it, but at the minute it won't stay together. So what we're going to do, see how we did this so it was 2 layers and this bit has 2 pieces? We're going to put each of these 2 pieces, we're going to tuck in one at each side.
I know how to do this. Now I know how this is done up.
Now, it's because there's, this is 2 separate sides, it does matter, it won't, if these bits overlap, it won't go in, but you can then just use some scissors and cut it, or fold it a bit out of the way to make it fit. And the other thing is, when you put the pieces in, it won't go quite to the middle, so don't worry about it, just push it down as much as it can, and then fold this again, so it's not going to be quite the middle.
Good
and
job!
The same at this side. We're going to be tucking these little flappy bits under, in my case, the purple, so under the across bit.
You rule.
And
You go.
thank you for the encouragement.
Good job.
Tuck it down and then
You
press it down.
annihilated
And
this.
that is our little cross. And
You annihilated this.
these bits will be slightly above, but it will all pull together.
You annihilated this.
Would you like to say a prayer for Japan and the Christians there? Do you want me to say it then? Dear Lord, thank you that there is no space on this earth where your word has not travelled to. Thank you for the rich variety of culture, foods and everything else that we love that comes from Japan. And we pray for the church there, that the congregation is growing, but slowly, and we pray for people to understand what it really means to be a Christian and to have you in their lives. Amen.
Amen. Annihilated. You